Would you say that you sort of see yourself more as a producer first, and then sort of a musician, or would you say it's a marriage of the two that has sort of worked well for you?
It's really a combination, and I think part of the, the sort of stretching of the categories is due to the fact that almost all people in the music industry now really are involved to some degree in something that is not their title. Because, almost all musicians have home studios, so they know a bit about equipment and engineering, and almost all producers play music, or a lot of them compose, and they know about engineering, and lots of engineers are musicians. So it's, and also because what an instrument is now includes a fair bit of electronics frequently. All those boundaries are kind of blurred. And the other thing is that because composing is not somebody sitting down at a piano and then writing out ideas anymore, mostly, it's more trying to record things. So that the compositional process and the recording process have kind of blended into one.
And so going back to the new album, the people that you worked with, was that sort of a choice that you had, that these were people that you had actually approached for the project?
It was very much an act of desperation. I had a really tight time schedule to do the music for the film. And so Bob Adams, who plays bass on the album, he's a local jazz musician, and he recommended a few people. And I had people come over and got them to play things, some of them didn't work out, but the ones that did made it to the album. And they're great musicians, so it's a really, really enjoyable thing to do.
Sure. So, but why was there actually that short time frame in which for you to work? Was that just the way it worked out?
That's pretty standard with films. I think it's they don't really want to think about the music until they're in the middle of editing, and then usually they have an intense deadline. But up until then, there's always been a greater emergency to deal with, and so they can't really think about it until they're about 6 weeks away from having to finish the film. And I think they can't really tell what's musically appropriate until they start editing a lot of the time. And so then they just say, well, we need it, in 3 weeks or something.
And I mean, you were
pretty common.
Yes. And because you worked pretty closely with Kevin Spacey on putting the album together, was that sort of important that sort of your interpretation musically sort of matched his vision of the movie?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I haven't done many films, but it seemed to be incredibly important that the director be very tightly involved, because they are the audience, really. That's the person I have to satisfy. So it really helps if they either know what they want or they know it when they hear it. And there's no time to pussyfoot around about it and be delicate. You just got to say it's working or it's not working, and we need to change it, or if we don't need to change it, then it's done. Let's go to the next one.
And as I say, with this being sort of Kevin's directorial debut, do you sort of see yourself? Obviously, should he do a movie in the future, would you be his first choice based on the work that you've done on Albino Alligator?
I think if he felt, I think in terms of the way it all worked out for us, I think yes. I think, sometimes the film very much dictates what the music should be. So if he decides, he needs a kind of a Jerry Goldsmith type score, then he probably wouldn't call me. But I think, often the picking the composers, it's a lot like casting actors. And there is no best actor. It's just, there are lots of great actors, and you pick the ones who are appropriate for the genre and
feeling of the film. I think that it's similar with composers.
Sure. And I mean, then again, I mean, you go back to Flea working on the album, as well as having Michael Stipe and Jimmy Scott. How did that marriage sort of come together?
Well, Kevin wanted to have a song for the closing credits, and had approached Michael Stipe about singing over the opening credits as the song for the closing credits. Mm-hmm. So Michael tried it for a while, but I think was probably just too burned out because they just finished mixing that REM album. Mm-hmm. So he suggested doing a cover. Mm-hmm. And he also wasn't totally comfortable singing a cover by himself, and thought it might be neat to do a duet with Jimmy, who he'd always been a huge fan of. And coincidentally, Flea had just produced a track for a compilation album of Jimmy's, and Michael and Flea were friends, so then Flea got involved.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah, it's sort of kind of just slightly random, coincidental arrangement.
Absolutely. And as I say, with sort of your choices that you have, obviously, because you've delved into a lot of different areas, do you have a preferable medium, one that you prefer? Do you sort of see yourself doing more of this kind of work, or sort of focusing more on your solo career?
Really, I really enjoy moving between composing, producing, performing, and also composing for albums and composing for films. So I'd really like to keep doing it. I mean, for a long time, people have said that my solo music sounds like film, and it's an enjoyable way to work. It's a very kind of contained type of project, and that's very attractive. You know, and also you really learn about the emotional impact of music very directly, because that's the only priority. But I'd like to do more of it, and I probably will.
Michael, I think I've probably taken up. I have obviously tons of questions, but I know your time is tight, and but I appreciate you making the time. Would you, as I say, you obviously need to go now, I'm sure.
Yeah, I should.
Okay, but as I say, thanks again, and apologies for the delay. It's unfortunate, but
yeah,
it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and congratulations on this. I hope it. As I say, I think 4AD are probably looking to you to do wonders with this, which I think it will do on its own merit, regardless of the movie.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And thanks for calling in. I'm sorry, I'm tight for time.
No.
If you need to follow up on it or something, I'll be back in about 10 days.
Okay. I'll see how I go, but if I do, I appreciate the offer. I'll then sort of organise that through the label here. But I think we should be fine initially. But thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot.